Nambi and Kintu made their way back to the heavens under the cover of night. When they arrived, Kintu marveled at the beauty of the place golden huts, vast fields of livestock, and a sky filled with stars unlike anything he had ever seen on earth. However, they had little time to admire the scenery. They quickly located Bihongo in Ggulu's fields, and Nambi helped Kintu guide the cow toward the edge of the heavens, preparing for their descent back to earth. But before they could leave, Nambi's brothers spotted them. Furious, they ran to their father to inform him that Nambi had brought Kintu into the heavens without his permission. Ggulu, disappointed in his daughter's defiance, summoned her immediately. "Nambi, why have you brought this stranger into my home?" he demanded. Nambi, trembling with fear, explained, "Father, I brought Kintu here to retrieve his cow. He has been surviving without it, but I couldn't bear the thought of him suffering any longer. Please forgive me." Ggulu, though upset, sent for Kintu, and the young man was brought before him. Kintu stood nervously before Ggulu, who regarded him with suspicion. "Why have you come here, Kintu?" Ggulu asked, his voice stern. "I came to take back my cow, and I humbly ask for your daughter's hand in marriage," Kintu replied, his voice steady despite his fear. Ggulu was surprised by Kintu's boldness, but he wasn't convinced that this mortal man was worthy of his beloved daughter. "I have heard much about you, Kintu. Nambi says you are a great man with magic powers, but I must see this for myself," Ggulu said thoughtfully. "I will test you to see if you are truly the man she claims you to be." With that, Ggulu snapped his fingers, and a great feast was laid before Kintu, a meal large enough to feed hundreds. "If you can finish this meal alone, you will have passed the first test," Ggulu declared. Kintu stared at the food, knowing that it was impossible for one man to eat so much. As Kintu sat before the mountain of food, he felt the weight of Ggulu's expectations pressing down on him. He began to eat, but after a while his stomach could take no more. Despair settled in as he realized that he would not be able to finish the meal. However, just as he was about to give up, a miracle occurred. A great hole appeared in the ground beneath the table. Without hesitation, Kintu began tipping the remaining food into the hole until every last bit was gone. When the servants returned to clear the table, they were shocked to find the feast had disappeared. Word of Kintu's success quickly spread throughout the heavens. Nambi's brothers, Kaikuzi and Walumbe, searched high and low for any trace of the food, but found nothing. They reported back to Ggulu, who, though impressed, was not fully satisfied. "This is only the first of many tests," Ggulu said, determined to challenge Kintu further. Ggulu summoned Kintu once more and handed him a golden axe. "If you are truly worthy of marrying my daughter, bring me kindling for my fire, not from wood, but from stone, and make sure my golden axe has no little crack on it as you return," Ggulu commanded. Kintu took the axe and ventured out, unsure of how he would complete such an impossible task. He wandered through the heavens, gazing at the great rocks that dotted the landscape. After some time, there was a heavy lightning with a huge sound, which got Kintu very scared and frightened. He sat down under a big tree. After some time of moving around the rocks, surprisingly, Kintu noticed small cracks in the rocks, which were due to the lightning. Using his hands, he carefully pried off pieces of stone, one by one. Though it took hours, he eventually gathered enough stone to form a small pile of kindling. He returned to Ggulu, who examined the stones with a critical eye. Though Ggulu did not show it, he was impressed by Kintu's resourcefulness. Ggulu, still determined to test Kintu's worthiness, gave him another challenge. "Bring me a pot full of dew," he ordered. Kintu was puzzled. How could he possibly collect enough dew to fill an entire pot. Nevertheless, he set out into the grasslands that night, hoping to find a solution. As dawn broke, Kintu awoke to a miracle. The blades of grass around him glistened with dew, and to his astonishment, the pot he had left sitting in the field was now full. He gathered the pot and returned to Ggulu, who finally seemed satisfied with Kintu's perseverance. "You have passed my tests," Ggulu admitted. But one final challenge remained the most difficult of all. For his final test, Ggulu gave Kintu an impossible task. "Find your cow among my royal herd," he said. Ggulu's herd was massive, and each cow looked almost identical to the next. Kintu stood before the vast fields, unsure of how to find Bihongo among the hundreds of animals grazing. As he pondered his next move, a bee landed on his shoulder and began buzzing in his ear.